Alright, the countdown to ProffieOS6 continues. So, coming in ProffieOS6, there are actually so many new functions, so many new style capabilities, as well as a bunch of new transition capabilities. So I wanted to kind of put a style together that took a lot of those pieces and kind of just exemplified what's going to be possible. Now this is kind of just a starting point. The possibilities are actually endless, but I actually put a lot of the new functions into this. Some new transitions, some new capabilities for styles, all into this blade, and I'm calling it a water blade. So right now, because it's parallel, it's actually not doing a lot. There's a little bit of movement, but this blade, the water effect, is actually going to be based on gravity. So if I start tilting this up, you'll see it's going to start to pour from the tip to the hilt. And the speed of that is based on the angle, which we've had blade angle before. But being able to get to where you have that, when it's straight up and down, it's going to be really fast. And then you'll see as I level out, it'll slow. And it's really responsive, of course, using blade angle. But now, if I start to tilt down, it's actually going to pour the water out of the hilt. And of course, the further down I go, the faster it's going to pour out. Now, another new capability is the ability for the transitions to react to this too. So my ignition and retraction effects are based on not only the angle, but the slope of that angle. So pointing straight down, this is going to pour out on retraction really fast. All right? And then if I ignite, it's going to pour in, again, from the hilt really fast. But obviously, if I change the slope on that, we're going to get a little bit slower pour out on both retraction and ignition. But then, if I start to tip up, it's going to retract the other direction. And again, the speed of it is going to be based on the angle. So when I'm straight up and down, it'll be the fastest. Now, in addition to that, we also have to take into account that water reacts to inertia. So if I swing really fast, I can actually, even though my blade's pointing up, I'm going to be able to reverse the flow of that water, temporarily fighting gravity, but then it's going to come back. And how long the reverse happens and how fast the reverse is based on how fast you're swinging. Now pointing down doesn't matter because water is always going to flow away in gravity. And if I point it down, it would do the same thing. But if I swing up really fast, you'll see. So right now, when I come up, the water's flowing in this direction. Right? And then it'll slow, but if I swing up really fast, it's going to reverse direction. Temporarily, it's going up, but there, gravity took back over. And that was kind of a medium swing. So if I swing a little faster, you'll see it'll last longer. But again, gravity is going to take over. So we're able to take not only the blade angle and the swing speed, but there's a couple other new functions in there. Hold peak, a couple of selects, and a bunch of other stuff, all making this possible. Now, another feature of water is that if you were to hit water, it should get a ripple effect. So the clash effect on this is going to use clash impact to create a ripple. And how hard you hit is going to change the size, the intensity, and how long the ripple takes. So a light hit, be a small, quick ripple, and then it settles in. A harder hit, be a little bit bigger, faster ripple, and then the really hard hit will be the largest ripple. So we're able to actually have all of this because we're using all of these different functions now together. So again, the ripple, kind of a light ripple, medium ripple, harder ripple. So we're going to get these rippling effects in the water, and again, it's going to react. So the clash location also is based on angle as well as the flow of the water. So if I'm pointing up a little bit more, you'll see that ripple will have moved, versus if I'm pointing down. So it's still restricted to be within the middle 50% of the blade. You can obviously change all that. But then the last thing, so now remember, if I'm pointing up, that water retraction is going to come down, and the water ignition is going to come down. But remember, I said we have the ability for inertia to reverse the flow of water. I also have in this style the ability for inertia to reverse the ignition. So even though we're going to be pointing up, if we swing hard enough upwards, it's actually going to reverse the flow of the water and the ignition effect temporarily. So we'll retract. Now if I swing fast enough, you'll see that water went with it, and then gravity took back over. So even though right now normally it should work this way, with the water flowing down, by swinging really fast I can reverse both the ignition effect, so it'll work reverse, but it'll also reverse the flow of the water temporarily until gravity takes over. So I got that water going up, and then there we go, gravity took back over. So all of this is just through combinations of all the new functions, along with some new transition capabilities which we haven't had before, and some effects are in there. But the biggest one is just taking just the number of possibilities now with the functions that exist in OS 6 we're going to take what we could do in OS 5 and it's almost an exponential growth of capability. So this is just one example that I've kind of been playing on because for a while I wanted to do a water blade, but I wanted this to react in this way, and some of the capabilities just didn't exist. So actually some of the reason for some of the new functions that were put in was to get to this level of control where it's not just blade angle. There's a lot involved here. So this isn't a straightforward blade angle effect. It doesn't take into account blade angle as one factor, but swing, clash. It also has a new function called hold peak, which makes some of this capable, all working together to do this. So yet another new, this will be a new style eventually. I'll probably clean it up a little bit, but this will eventually get into the OS 6 library just to show off what we can do. But the possibilities are literally endless with what's coming, so hope you enjoy.